Hey everybody, welcome back to CALLOUS Kinda Sorta Plays the Draft Tournament. In this case, it is the Hoenn Khlazic. You hopefully watched the first video, otherwise, what are you doing here? You can go back and check that out. We played against Hoenn in the first round. When I say we, I mean Java played, but I'm the one who both drafted and built the team that he played with. And then he's responsible for his own crappy play. All I can do is give him the tools to succeed and hope for the best. As a refresher, this is the team that we drafted. Basically, pretend the Torkoal and the War Turtle are not there. We just have these top six that we'll be using throughout the tournament, and we do have a 1-0 record in the ADV draft portion of the tournament. Our next opponent is this guy, Fish. Someone who I, again, like Papoon, am not familiar with or was not familiar with prior to the events of this match. And he basically has a 6 team as well. Under like the most extreme circumstances, he looks on the other side and they have absolute dick all. Is there a world where he could maybe bring the Shedinja? Sure, I suppose that's possible. But that does not seem very likely to me for all intents and purposes. He's got these 6, and again, this is a pretty good draft team. I like this 6 as well. So, solid squad, and this is how we tackled the matchup. This is the team that I built for Jabba, and then, like I said, I'll just take you over to my notes because I don't remember why I did the things that I did. All right, we've got this cool Gyarados here with Substitute Wave and 2 attacks. We have a no normal attack, Snorlax here, opting for Thick Fat as opposed to Immunity because we have Refresh. Curse EQ Shadow Ball makes sense. We are against a Gengar and a Steelix after all. Kind of need that coverage. Ice Beam Surf, Recover, Refresh Milo, full bulk. Protect 3 attack Cham. Max attack, max speed. We opted for Jolly, which is to get ahead of the Moltres. Sub T-Wave Rock Slide EQ on Regirock, and this really, really weird Sceptile set that doesn't actually have a grass attack. This funky, coveraged out Crunch Dragon Claw HP Water subset with Pataya. How about that Sceptile, baby? Draft does weird things. What can I say? And let's just go over to the notes as to why. Alright, so this is what I told Java about this team. So apparently I had DD Gyra for a long time. I do remember that. I really wanted DD Gyra because I thought that it was good in the matchup, but for various reasons, all of Taunt, Sub, and T-Wave are really appealing in this matchup, but you can't have all of them, so I had to make an adjustment. T-Wave good against his team as a whole, but not against Steelix, so EQ very much a requirement. Substitute is going to stop Toxic from him. Let's see, obviously doesn't prevent you from getting roared away. Taunt, which we did not end up going with, stops the Toxic possibility from Steelix, but not Rock Slide. And then any DD set, kind of a crapshoot because it's a guessing game where we're trying to figure out what the Steelix set is, and if we're wrong and we have the wrong set, then we might be in trouble, whether it's Rock Slide or Roar or Toxic or Boom or the various things that the Steelix can do. So I opted for this set so we could still have the T-Wave threat, which is still very good against this team, but we're reasonable against other stuff on the team, and we don't get cucked by Toxic or Boom from the Steelix. That was the gist on the weird Gyra set. Lax, like I discussed, has coverage, need it to hit both Gengar and Steelix, therefore Shadow Ball and Earthquake are required. Curse and Refresh both feel mandatory for different reasons. I went Adamant, and I did that, Adamant plus the EV, so I can always kill the bulkiest Gar in history once I'm at +1. Milo went straight bulk to check Moltres and D-Knight. Obviously can handle Steelix as well. The Metacham, like I said, went Jolly Max Speed to get ahead of Modest Moltres. Obviously, the Moltres has the ability to just go Timid and outspeed us anyway, but it's better for my entire team as a whole if we make it go Timid because it just hits everything not as hard, and it's the same concept with Dragonite. Yes, he can go max speed, try to get ahead of us, but In doing so, that's better for us because it doesn't hit as hard. So we're basically forcing the opponent into a choice. You get one or the other. You can't do both. Either you're faster than us but you don't hit as hard, or we're faster than you and you hit hard. Can't have both. I put the Protect there specifically for Tauros, and also if the Gar tries to get cute or the Steelix tries to boom on us, if either one of those try to blow, we have the ability to protect. But the biggest reason was the Tauros. If we get to Tauros on Cham, I want to be able to just click Protect, see what his CB move is, and then go from there. With Regirock, I went Quake Slide because it covers everything on the team. The substitute is largely, again, to shield from the possibility of Toxic on Steelix. But also, if I wave something and then I sub up, that's good. You can fish for full powers and then eventually find yourself behind a sub. This is good. And then the Sceptile, like I said, just coverage, really wet and wild, but that weird set does, in fact, have super effective damage, even if it's not the most exciting super effective damage against everything. If you just do a quick refresher as to what our opponent has here, Leaf Blade really isn't all that damn exciting in this matchup. Resisted by Bee, resisted by Gar, resisted by Knight, resisted by Moltres, neutral on Steelix, neutral on Tauros. Leaf Blade is honestly kind of crappy unless he brings the Octillery, which, let's be real, he's not going to. And that's pretty much it. I did factor in the Shed Ninja just as an ultra precaution. 5 of our 6 Mons can hit it on the off chance that he brings that Mon. But like I said, realistically, is he going to bring Shed Ninja? Probably not. So one final look at the team. The fucking Sceptile, man. What a weird set. First and last time for that set, baby. And here is, let me switch sides for continuity, and by continuity I mean putting Job on the bottom, which I guess is continuity with the rest of this series. And here's the game, which again I don't really remember, so bear with me. Gar is obviously not a good lead for Gyarados, so out of the way we go. Remember, even if he does Will-O-Wisp us, unless he's specifically Wild Taunt, we don't care because we have Refresh. Curse here, we can threaten him with +1 EQ, but we've got to be careful about getting boomed on, which is what he does immediately. That is CB Steelix, which is why it killed it +1 there. So that was a cool set for Fish. We were not anticipating that, admittedly. This is pretty bad for both of us. Regirock getting burnt, not good. Gengar getting T-waved, not good. That Rock Slide obviously underwhelming when we're burnt. Celebi comes in anyway, and of course he didn't want to get his Tauros T-wave, so it's understandable that he didn't stay in there despite the fact that we were burnt. Leech Seed gets off through imperfect accuracy and paralysis there. Out we go to Sceptile, find ourselves against the Knight. Remember that we do have Dragon Claw here, which is not exciting, but it is a threat. He's got HP flying evidently, so out of the way we go. Milotic should be okay here, unless he's got random Thunder or Thunderbolt, which he doesn't represent that he does, and we did go straight for the Ice Beam, in case he had tried to stay in and Thunderbolt us or something like that. Psychic and Beam, we're getting the better end of that, but we're not going to kill him without a crit or a freeze. We do go to Gyra, presumably anticipating Recover, which is what happens. With Steelix being out of the way, the Gyarados is actually a pretty reasonable threat. Hidden Power there, 51, gave us a chance if we had crit there to kill, but alas, didn't happen. Tauros in, and that was a great prediction by Jabba, getting him with Wave. So unless the Bee or the Knight has Heal Bell, that is a devastating status effect. If the Bee or the Knight have Heal Bell, we're actually probably not in that great a shape this game because it would remove the Paras from both the Tauros and the Gar. That's not where we want to be, but getting the Gyarados in on the Celebi here is good once again. Tauros coming in to intimidate us is relevant, but we'll take any chip that we can get, especially against a non-leftovers Mon. Not sure if I love the stay-in, but I can see why he did that. He's also scouting the Choice Band move, so now we know that it's double edge, and as such, we can go to our normal resist and Regirock. That crit mattered, but what are you going to do? The Regirock is on the way out anyway. Here comes B. Gonna wave him. Fair enough. Lack of anything better to do, but Regirock obviously getting a little low. Rock Slide there trying to fish for Power Flinch and prevent a recover, but he doesn't even go for a cover, so fair enough. Down goes the Regirock, and now Gyarados comes in again. He does not have a fantastic switch to that with the Steelix down, so Jabba wisely is going to fish for some full paras. See if he goes for it again. Nope, he got out-predicted there. Had he subbed again, it would have been better. Hindsight 2020, but still, again, we'll take any chip that we can get. Gonna go to Milo here, not in any danger from the Moltres. Remember that we have Refresh, so Toxic is whatever. We can just click a button and make it go away. Hidden Power, whatever. Grass Electric there. I guess we have a one-turn window here. We can crit us and kill us, but pending that, we're fine. Doesn't even go for it. He just goes Toxic again while we get the recover off. Obvious Refresh turn incoming. Only way we get broken here, and apparently we don't refresh, which feels janky as shit to me. Not sure why our opponent didn't just stay in and push the issue here. I think Jabba made a mistake, but I think in exchange our opponent made a mistake too, so that works. Sceptile coming in here I don't think is great either. We're crunching into something that's Calm Minding up. I mean, we do get a Specs drop, but... Oh, and another Specs drop. That's one way to break through. But I think Jabba with a couple missteps in the later stages here. The Pataya here is going to activate, so +1 Crunch is going to kill the Gar. He certainly, I mean, the fact that he's not valuing the Gar there, it certainly makes it seem like he does not have Heal Bell anywhere. And then that is a +1 HP Water on the Moltres, leaving it obviously very low. Here comes B. Ice Beam is correct there because it would have killed the Moltres all the same, but it's that much better against a potential Celebi or Dragonite switch. Medicham going to come into the B. We obviously can threaten that. We know that we have Shadow Ball, which does a lot. Psychic there, good chunk, but would never kill us without a crit, which didn't come. Shadow Ball will kill him if he stays in and eats it. He's going to fodder off the Moltres. Fine. And here comes the D-Knight. Protect is, I mean, I don't know. We've only seen Hidden Power flying. I don't love Protect there because he could have just clicked Dragon Dance, but I guess Milo would still be fine. Recover, I think, is the play here. You could have Ice Beam, but I don't like it. You also could have Refreshed. I would have recovered, so fine with that. Gyarados safe here from a non-crit, but I don't actually know that it kills Celebi from 57%. T-Wave, super duper obnoxious. It's been so good, just like I knew it would be. Hidden Power 53. Psychic 41. We should survive another one, and then he may or may not tank another Hidden Power. Tauros going to come in. That'll lead a Hidden Power. 14% in Paralyze. It's very, very low, and he's going to let it go. Now to Dragonite again, which at this point our Milotic should be able to handle without too much issue, and he is, in fact, DD Knight. So the fact that we have Toxic here is both helping and hurting. We have Marvel Scale, and the defense boost definitely matters, but obviously the residual damage not good. But Hidden Power there, as it turns out, even with a crit would not have been enough because Marvel Scale OP. So killing that, we should have this in the bag. I don't know how Celebi beats everything that we have left, but I guess we'll find out. T-Wave here is something that he absolutely cannot avoid, so it's going to be real obnoxious for him. And that should allow the Medicham to clean this up pretty safely, unless our opponent just crits us a bazillion times over. Going to fodder off the Milo. That's the right play. Here comes Gyra, and that should be ball game. We should be able to Hidden Power him here, and even if our opponent were to insta-crit us, we could just clean him up with Medicham, and that's exactly what happens, in fact. So Psychic crit, fine. But Medicham can just click Shadow Ball here, and there's nothing our opponent can do. So this one, certainly closer than the previous game, and that was a very cool tech that he had with the Choice Band Steelix to unexpectedly kill our Lax. That very much changed the game. And it was an interesting trade because the Lax was important for us without a doubt, and it was definitely a threat to his team. But on the flip side of that, the Steelix was also really important to our opponent, and the second that he gave up the Steelix, even if he had a good reason for giving up the Steelix, I think our Gyarados became a lot more of a threat than it necessarily needed to be. And I think the Gyara put in a ton of work in this particular game. And yeah, I think the Gyara got a lot of value. I think between the T-Waves and just attacking and doing actual damage, I thought the Gyro was possibly the MVP of this game. It got T-Wave on Tauros, it got T-Wave on Gengar. Probably the Gyro ended up being the most important Pokemon. So that's it. Another victory for Jabba the Griffin. Now 2-0 in the ADV portion of this tournament. More to come from this tour. If you've been enjoying the content, hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next video.